Hi there. Hi there, and welcome to video number 2. Now, in the first video we talked a little bit about the menopause and the implications and how I managed to sail through the menopause due to all these lovely new techniques that I've learned that I'm going to pass on to you. So today I'd like to talk about a little bit about the physical symptoms, and I'd like to give you a couple of gifts from myself to help you. And the main thing I'd like to talk about is the hot flushes. Now come on, we don't like them. No one likes them. They're horrible, let's face it. You don't want to go through them, but you know, we do. But I found a way of how not to go through them. So I mean, what is it about the hot flushes? I mean, what is it about the hot flushes? When you're standing outside in the freezing cold blizzard, and I live in England, in the UK, I don't know where you live, but you're waiting for a train, and in England we have no shelters and no waiting rooms, and you're standing out there and you're freezing. And you pray to every single deity that's out there, Buddha, Allah, God, Jesus, doesn't matter who, to have a hot flush. You would give anything to have a hot flush. And do you get one? No, of course you don't. And then as soon as you come into the hot house and the heating is on, and there you go, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, and everything comes off and you're down to your bra and your panties, and your husband is sitting there and you think he's going to jump you. But no, what's he watching? Football, of course. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say here is that the heating that we have, especially in the UK, is unnatural. And it plays havoc with your thyroid and your endocrine system. And then you get a hot flush. And it's not nice. So what do you do? Well, the first thing you do, you drink gallons of this stuff. Gallons and gallons and gallons of water. Because it's going to cool your body down. And if you don't, and you keep getting hot flushes, you're going to get more dehydrated. And then you're going to have more problems. But not only that, you're going to get more hot flushes. And that's the way it is. So if you do get hot flushes, and there are times when I get them, I don't get them hardly at all now, but when I was getting them, it could be that you were angry or too frightened. I mean, you know, when you blush, you know, when you're stressed and stuff like that, you get the hot flushes. And I'll give you an example. I was having a reflexology session a little while ago, and she was working on my adrenals. Now, the adrenals are all about our fight and our flight. So when we're stressed out, we release more adrenaline. And she was working on my adrenals, and suddenly I felt this huge heat come into my body, and I was having a hot flush. And I haven't had one for ages, so it was like, what's going on here? I was having a hot flush. And then I thought to myself, what's going on in here, Lauren? What are you thinking? What could you be thinking that's causing this heat, as well as the fight and flight? And I was thinking about the fact that I was going to be in the house on my own till 11 o'clock at night, and I don't like being on my own in the house. And that was it, you see. Huge fear came into my body that I was going to be in the house till 11 o'clock at night on my own. And she was working on my adrenals, so I was getting too much of the adrenaline was being released. And that's what happens. Too much adrenaline comes into your body and you start to burn up like Mount Vesuvius. So there you go. So it's to do with our emotions. It's to do with the way we live. It's the way we let our emotions control our life. So I was getting my hot flushes. And what did I do then? What did I do when I didn't have the answers yet? Think about it. I didn't have the answers yet. I didn't know what to do. So this is what I used to do. I used to make the most of it. I used to be very creative, and I had fun. Basically, I closed my eyes and imagine I am sitting on the most beautiful beach in the world. Anywhere, the Caribbean, as long as it's warm, obviously, because I'm having this hot flush. But right beside me, there is a pool. And this pool is an ice pool. It's full of ice. Yeah, and any minute now I'm going to jump into this pool and I'm going to cool down. And I keep saying to myself, ice, ice, ice. Anyway, this waiter, this gorgeous waiter, most gorgeous looking waiter you can imagine, is bringing me a cocktail, an icy cold drink. And obviously if you can't drink alcohol, fruit or cold chocolate, whatever. But it's a wonderful, wonderful cool drink. And you keep saying to yourself, ice, 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 cool down, and you're visualizing this beautiful blue pool of ice, and you're getting cooler and cooler, and your body's calming down and cooling down. And that is the power of your mind. And before you know it, what happens? Your body's cooled down and the hot flush is gone. But let me be honest with you. The night sweats and the hot flushes are not something that we want. They're horrible. We don't want to have to keep jumping out of bed and having cold showers and changing our pajamas and just getting back in. And it's horrible. We don't want them. And I identify with you. We don't want them. So let me introduce you to a couple of my little toolbox friends, I'll call them. There's two of them, and these are the two main things that you use to help you with the hot flushes. These are herbs. You've got Agnus Castus. Vitex Agnus Castus is one of them, and Donquai is the other one. Now, Vitex Agnus Castus, you take 20 drops a day, first thing in the morning, no water, on your tongue once, okay? And Donquai is the balancing herb. You can take it about 3 times a day, about 20 drops in water, and this will start to balance you out. It won't just help the hot flushes, it'll help with other symptoms as well. But remember one thing, always get these things from a herbalist. Don't buy them in your ordinary shop, because if you buy them in an ordinary shop, like a herbal shop or a health shop, you're going to get a diluted form of these herbs. And there may be a lot of chemicals in them. So it doesn't work, it's not the right thing to do. Make sure you find a good herbalist, someone who's qualified and knows exactly what they're doing, and that's what you take. And remember another thing, which I didn't mention and I need to mention. I am not a doctor, okay? I'm not diagnosing you, and I'm not able to tell you what to do. I chose to go this way. I chose to go with the herbs and to go with the mind, okay? Medicine isn't for me. I don't want to take HRT. I can't take HRT because I get breast lumps, and I don't want to go obviously in that direction. Why should I cause more problems for myself? You have to do whatever you want. I mean, I know women out there that take HRT and they're happy as anything. Fair enough. I can't do it, and a lot of women can't do it and don't want to do it. But we're not doctors, and as I said, if you have a good doctor, that's brilliant. Celebrate. Work together with your doctor with these things, okay? Now the next thing I do, which I did say, is to do with the feet. And I mean, this is magic. It is magic, and it's reflexology, and you've probably heard about reflexology. Reflexology works on the feet. And basically it was brought to the West by a woman called Eunice Ingham. Now she was working on her brother. She was working on his big toe when she was training, and he had some calluses on his big toe, and he was an opera singer and he couldn't sing the high notes. And she was working on his big toe, and she started to do this, and eventually he started to sing like a bird. He went back to singing and there was no blockages. Now this is how I got introduced into reflexology. Basically, I'm a singer, and I was getting blockages, and I went to see a reflexologist, and she worked on my big toe, and all the blockages disappeared. And then a couple of years after that, I started to have menstruating problems. I wasn't getting a period, and I was ill. So I went to see a reflexologist, and my period started to flow again. So what's the best thing to do with the menopause? You go back to a reflexologist. Now, what really, really makes me angry is they say there's no proof that it works. Oh, there's no proof it works. These things don't work. Reflexology doesn't work. That doesn't work. Because they can't prove it. I mean, is God here? Does God exist? Can we prove it? Can't we prove it? Does it matter as long as it works? Now, I can tell you, reflexology works 100%. My hot flushes go down within half a day sometimes. It always works because it's not magic, it's purely scientific.